Charini แก้วมี A dark brown dog. I affirm that I have recorded in audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
ปาริชาติ1125 ค่ะ A Dark Brown Dog I affirm that I have recorded the audio book with my own voice and that this my work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participate.
ธัญพร วิเศษธา1178 A Dark Brown Dog I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this my work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
พิยดาเทียนแก้ว 123 A Dark Brown Dog I affirm that I give recorded the radio book with my own voice and that its work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
A child was standing on a street corner. He leaned with one shoulder against a high board fence and soused the other to and fro the well, kicking casually as the gravel sunshine beat upon the cobble and a lazy summer wind. The lazy yellow dust which trailed in clouds down the avenue. Shuttling truck moved with indistinct to it. The child stood dreamily gazing. After a time, a little dark brown dog came trotting with an entrained air down the sidewalk. A short lock was dragging from his neck. Occasionally, he trod upon the edge of an ash stumbled. He stopped opposite the child, and the two lided each other. The dog hesitated for a moment, but presently he made some little advances with his tail. The child put out his hand and called him in an apologetic manner. The dog came close, and the two had an interchange of friendly patting and wagging. The dog became more enthusiastic with each moment of the interview until with his gleefully he threatened to overturn the child. This thing seemed to overpower and astonish the little dark brown dog, and wounded him to the heart. He sank down in Kesab at the child's feet when his brow was repeated.
He looked so communal on his back and holding his paws peculiarly that the child was greatly amused and gave him little taps repeatedly to keep him so. But the little dark brown dog took his chastisement in the most serious way, and no dog considered that he had committed some grave crime, for he wriggled contritely and showed his repentance in every way that was in his power. He pleaded with the child and petitioned him and offered more prayers. At last, the child grew weary of this amusement and turned toward home. The dog was praying at the time. He lay on his back and turned his eye upon the retreating form. Presently, he struggled to his feet and started after the child. The latter wandered in a perfunctory way towards his home, stopping at times to investigate various matters. During one of these pauses, he discovered the little dark brown dog who was following him with the air of a footpad. The child beat his pursuer with a small stick he had found. The dog lay down and prayed until the child had finished and resumed his journey. Then he scrambled erect and took up the pursuit again. On the way to his home, the child turned many times and beat the dog, proclaiming with childish gesture that he held him in a contempt as an unimportant dog, with no value save for a moment. For being this quality of animal, the dog apologized and eloquently expressed regret, but he continued stealthily to follow the child. His manner grew so very guilty that he slunk like an assassin. When the child reached his doorstep, the dog was industriously ambling a few yards in the rear. He became so agitated with shame when he again confronted the child that he forgot the dragging rope. He tripped upon it and fell forward.
The child sat down on the step, and the two had another interval during the dog greatly exerted himself to please the child. He performed a few grumbles with such abandon that the child suddenly saw him to be a valuable thing. He made a swift, a vicious shot and seized the rope. He dragged his captive into the hall and up many long stairway in the dark tenement. The dog made willing effort, but he could not hobble very skillfully up the stair because he was very small and soft. At last, the pace of engrossed child grew so energetic that the dog became panic-stricken. In his mind, he was being dragged through a grim unknown. His eye grew wide with the terror of it. He began to wriggle his head frantically and to brace his leg. The child redoubled his exertion. They had a battle on the stair. The child was victorious because he was completely absorbed in his purpose. And because the dog was very small, he dragged his equipment to the door of his home, and finally with triumph across the threshold. No one was in. The child sat down on the floor and made overtures to the dog. This the dog instantly accepted. He beamed with affection upon his new friend. In a short time, they were firm and abiding comrades. When the child family appeared, they made a great row. The dog was examined and commented upon and called names. Scorn would revel at him from all eyes, so that he became much embarrassed and drooped like squash pen. But the child went sturdily to the center of the floor, and at the top of his white, champagne the dog. It happened that he was trolling protestation with his arm crushed about the dog's neck. When the father of family came in from work,
The parent demanded to know what the bless they were making his kid howl for. It was explained in many words that the infernal kid wanted to introduce a disreputable dog into the family. A family council was held. On this depended the dog's fate, but he is no way heeded, being busily engaged in chewing the end of the child's dress. The affair was quickly ended. The father of the family, it appears, was in a particularly savage temper that evening, and when he perceived that it would amaze and anger everybody if such a dog were allowed to remain, he decided that it should be so. The child, crying softly, took his friend off to a retired part of the room to hobnob with him, while the father quelled a fierce vision of the wife. So it came to pass that the dog was a member of the household. He and the child was associated together at all times save the child's death. The child became a guardian and a friend. If the large fork kicked the dog and threw things at him, the child made round and violent objects. Once, when the child had run, protesting loudly, with tears raining down his face and his arm outstretched to protect his friend, he had been struck in the head in a very large saucepan from the hand of his father. Enraged at some seeming lack of courtesy in the dog, ever after, the family were careful how they threw things at the dog. Moreover, the latter grew very skillful in avoiding missiles and feet. In a small room containing a stove, a table, a bureau, and some chairs, he would display strategic ability of a high order, dodging, feinting, and sculling some among of the furniture. He could force 3 or 4 people armed with brooms, sticks, and handfuls of coal to use all their ingeniously in get a bowl, and even when they did, it was seldom that they could do him a serious injury or leave.
But when the child was present, test skin did not occur. It came to be recognized. The dog was more restless. The child would belch into soft, and as the child was stated, was very like us, and practically inquestionable. The dog had drained safeguard. However, the child could not always be near at night when he was asleep. His dark brown friend would raise from some back corner a wailful cry, a song of infinite loneliness and Casper that would go thundering and sobbing among the buildings of the block and cause people to swell at test time. To singer would often be shared all over the kitchen and his with a great variety of articles. Sometimes Sometimes too the child himself used to beat the dog, although it is not now that he ever has what could be truly called a just cause the dog away, accepted trusting with an air of admitted guide. He was too much of the dog to try to look to be a master or to be plot revenge. He received the brow with deep humility, and furthermore, he forgave his friend the moment the child had finished and was ready to crop his shield hard with his little red toe. When misfortune came upon the child, and his trouble overwhelmed him, he would often cry under the trouble, and I lay his small, distressed hand on the dog's back. The dog was ever sympathetic. It is not to be supposed that at such time to look of caution to refer to the unjust. beating his friend when Prologue has administered to him.
He did not achieve any notable degree of intimacy with the other members of the family. He had no confidence in them, and the fear that he would explode at their constant approach often exasperated them excessively. They used to gain the certain satisfaction in underfeeding them. But finally his friend, the child, grew to watch the matter with some care, and when he forgot it, the dog was often successful in secret from himself. So the dog proposed. He developed a large bark, which came wondrously from such a small rock of the dog. He creased a hole percentually at night. Sometimes, indeed, in his sleep, he would utter little yells, as from pain, but that occurred no doubt. When in his dream he encountered huge, flaming dog who threatened him direfully. His devotion to the child grew until it was sublime. He waked at his approach. He sank down in the display at his departure. He could detect the sound of the child's step among all the noise of the neighborhood. It was like a calling voice to him. The scene of their companionship was a kingdom governed by the terrible potentate. The child, but neither criticism nor reverence ever lived for an instant in the heart of the one subject. Down in the mystic, hidden field of his little dog soul bloomed flower of love with fidelity and perfect faith. The child was in the habit of going to many expeditions to observe strange things in the vicinity. On this occasion, his friend usually jogging aimlessly along behind. Perhaps, though, he went ahead. This nested is turning around every quarter minute to make sure the child was coming. He was filled with a large idea of the importance of this journey. He would carry himself with such an air. He was proud to be the returner of so great a mirage.
One day, however, the father of the family got quite exceptionally drunk. He came home and held carnival with the cooking utensils, the furniture, and his wife. He was in the midst of this recreation when the child, followed by the dark brown dog, entered the room. They were returning from their voyages. The child's pecticious eyes intensely noted his father's state. He dived under the table where experience has taught him was a rather stiff hand. The dog, lacking skill in such matters, was, of course, unaware of the true condition of affairs. He looked with interested eyes at his friend's sudden drive. He interpreted it to mean joyous gambol. He started to patter across the floor to join him. He was the picture of a little dark brown dog en route to a fence. The head of the family saw him at his moment. He gave a hug howl of joy, and cocked the dog down with a heavy coffee pot. The dog, yelling the astonishment and fear, right to his feet and ran for cover. The man kicked out with a ponderous foot. It caused the dog to swear as it caught in a tight. A second blow of the coffee pot laid him upon the floor, where the shine, answering loud cries, came valiant forth like a knight. The father of the family paid no attention to this cause of the shine, but advanced directly upon the dog. Upon being knocked down twice in swift succession, the latter apparently gave up or hove off. Escape, he rolled over on his back and held his part in a peculiar manner. At the same time, with his eyes and his ears, he offered up a small pear. But the father was in a mood for having fun, and it occurred to him that it would be a fine thing to throw the dog out of the window. So he reached down and, grabbing the animal by a leg, lifted him squirming up. He swung him 2 or 3 times, hilariously about his lead. Then flung him with great accuracy through the window. The soaring dog created a surprise in the box. A woman watering past in an opposite window gave an involuntary shot and dropped a flower pot. A man in an outer window leaned pointless out to watch the fight of the dog. A woman who had been hacking out clothes in a yard began to caper wildly. Her mouth was filled with clothespins, but her arms gave vent to a shout to exclamation. In appearance, she was like a cat prisoner. Children lay whooping. The dark brown body cast in a shape on the roof of a shed 5 stories below. From thence it rose to the pyramid of a alleyway. The shine in the room far above burst into a long, gratified cry and tore hastily out of the room. It took him a long time to reach, and very arid because his sight compelled him to go downstairs backward, 1 step at a time, and holding with both hands to the step apart. When they came to him later, they find him seated by the body of his dark brown face.